Welcome into another edition of Mavs Latest. I'm Josyah Howard, and before we get anything started today, please subscribe down below. Please leave any comments you got for me down below because this is Mavs Latest. It's Dallas Mavericks every day with me, Josyah Howard. But let's start here because Mike Curtis of the Dallas Morning News. He did a little mailbag where he got some questions from some Dallas Mavericks fans, and we got some interesting answers. And one question I want to start with is in reference to the roster lineup, the roster size, excuse me, right now. And the question is, we have 16 players right now. How many moves are we going to have to make before the season opener? I would love Dean Wade on this roster to bring shooting, maybe a Kai Jones as well. And Curtis responds with the Mavericks have 16 standard contracts on the books right now, and names everybody on the roster among uh, Dante Exum, who is expected to resign with the team as well, and that number needs to be trimmed to 15 before the start of the regular season. It's a topic we've talked about a lot on this program, and yeah, we are going to have to keep our eyes out on which player the Mavericks decide to either release or they might trade a player and bring back one player in order to shrink that roster size as well. Another question posed to Mike Curtis was, are the Mavericks actually going to extend PJ Washington? Mike responds with great question. That's one with the of the final actionable items on the Mavericks offseason to-do list. Outside of the secondary move to re-sign Exum, which obviously will be a topic of discussion until that roster spot is opened up for him. Washington will be eligible to sign an extension with the Mavericks on August 29th. If he chooses to accept that extension from Dallas, if it's offered, or he can wait to be an unrestricted free agent the next summer following this one. And ESPN's Tim McMahon recently reported that he anticipates Washington will indeed sign that extension next month at a number that he will be very tradable on. Um, very similar comments made about the Gafford deal as well. So Mavericks looking to lock in Washington possibly on that 3-year timeline that a lot of players on this roster are set on. And it's something to look out for because the domino is PJ Washington's extension and this roster spot for Dante Exum, which was another question posed to Curtis. And he says Exum agreed to a 1-year contract to return to the Mavericks on July 2nd, where now they lock in two veteran point guards in him and D'Angelo Russell to fill in the point guard void while Kyrie is recovering from the ACL injury. And all signs are pointing to either Max Prosper or Jaden Hardy being the one of the players moved or waived in order to bring back Dante Exum, according to Mike Curtis. So that's kind of what I thought all along. I don't know why there seems to be a delay on it. I don't know if they're waiting on the PJ Washington extension before they make a move to open up and bring in Dante Exum officially. I don't know what the move is there. It's kind of odd that they haven't decided on that yet. We'll keep you up to date on that here on Mavs Latest, but interesting that the same names keep popping up as options to open up the roster spot for Dante Exum, yet that move has not been made. Again, we will keep you up to date with all of it here on Mavs Latest. But when it comes to trade rumors with the Mavericks lately, King James has been in the forefront, and another trade has been cooked up here by Eric Pincus of Bleacher Report. Uh, first of all, it seems like LeBron was the one that had the interest here, and the Mavericks are not interested. if the Mavericks have the timeline they say they do, they should think about possibly bringing in LeBron James. LeBron James is bigger than just the on-court appeal. It's the off-court stuff as well. He brings in a lot of money, a lot of revenue. It's something to think about. He could be if LeBron James is retiring on your team, there's a lot of money to be made, and it's something to think about. It's not just a basketball decision, which depending on what you move and when we get to this trade offer, we'll see if everyone else agrees it would be a solid move. But that is the thing you have to think about if you're the Mavericks. That you know, might bring in a lot of revenue that might have been lost when you traded Luka out of the building, and it could be a way to make up that money. I don't know how much. I don't have any statistics or anything like that, but LeBron moves and shifts economies when it comes to these NBA franchises, and if you can market LeBron retiring with your franchise, there's value there, and to just say you're not outright not interested, I think is a little bogus, but it just all depends on how much you're willing to give up. And in this trade offer, this seems to be the least amount of real. Well, I don't want to say not real contributors because there's contributors in this deal, but people that I'm willing to move off of in this deal to get in a LeBron for 2 more seasons, and I'd be willing to do this. So, the Pincus, he projects that this trade would be Mavericks getting LeBron, Bronny James, Drew Timmy from the Nets, Tyree Smart from the Nets, a trade exception created by Dwight Powell leaving, and a trade exception created by Max and Prosper leaving. So the Lakers would then get Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, Caleb Martin, Jaden Hardy, 2 second rounders, and the Lakers would get a trade exception of 24 million opened up by LeBron James leaving, and the Nets would get Dalton Connect, Maxi Kleba, Prosper, and Dwight Powell. Um, I mean, if I'm the Nets, you get to take a shot on Dalton Connect. You just brought in MPJ, Michael Porter Jr. So if you're just interested in farming young talent, if you're the Nets, you'd be interested in getting it in on this deal. If I'm the Lakers, I feel like I can get a little bit more value for LeBron than what the Nets or what the Mavericks are kind of giving up here. It's a lot of players, it's a lot of depth. Don't get me wrong, but you can make up for the loss of Daniel Gafford, and well, you already make up for the loss of PJ Washington with adding LeBron. First of all, uh, Drew Timmy, I'm not going to pretend he's like a superstar, but he's a rotational piece that can come in. Bronny is Bronny. I don't see him being any real X factor for the NBA contending team anytime soon. Who knows? Never say never, though. Just the value of LeBron James retiring with your team and bringing Bronny with him alone is enticing, and you have to at least admit that. Even if you're a Mavericks fan that's not a big fan of LeBron James, you at least have to admit there's appeal in that regard. Um, and you're not giving up. It's a lot of players, but they don't really equal the value of even what LeBron James brings to the table to this day. So again, in that trade proposal is worth at least looking at. If I'm the Nets, if I'm the Mavericks, I don't know if I'm the Lakers, I'm not sure if I really want to do that particular deal. The trade exception would be nice. I just don't know who you could get with a $24 million trade exception. That's kind of a number in the NBA at this point where you're really only going to find a role player at that number or like a really good starter at that number. You're not like Derek White makes 28 million a year, just for an example. So, um, I don't love that for the Lakers, but if I'm the Mavericks and that was the trade proposal and everyone was in, you have to really think about possibly doing that deal. So we'll see. I will keep our eyes out on more LeBron trade ideas as more trade rumors for the Dallas Mavericks come down the line, possibly to open up that roster spot for Dante Exum. We'll keep our eyes out on that as well. But speaking of that open roster spot, there was a former MVP released by their team. And by MVP, I don't want to get your hopes up too much. It is the G League MVP, JD Davidson, waived by the Celtics, and he might be somebody that the Mavericks might think about for that last two-way deal. It's never a bad idea to bring in the MVP of the G League to fill in your last two-way deal that is available. I don't think that's a terrible idea at all. He averaged 25 points in the G League, and he's been pretty consistent in his time in the G League. Averaged 20 points in the season before that. So real growth coming from JD Davidson, and maybe he ends up working out in a deeper capacity for the Mavericks, but I'm not even trying to put him on the main roster right now. It's you have an open two-way deal and the G League MVPs available. It seems pretty it's pretty simple when you put it like that, I think. You just give the G League MVP a shot to go out there and try to get an opportunity with you. You have an injured point guard right now. What if you bring him in, you bring him into camp and he performs well, and then you have him on a two-way deal, but maybe you convert it because you're that impressed with him. Again, when people are that accomplished, even at the G League level, you got to give them a shot to show them what you could do. And the Celtics are just too deep right now. I don't think they really had a spot for him, and I think they honestly let him go in good faith of hoping he gets an opportunity to get out there and prove what he could do on a bigger stage. So again, maybe he gets a bigger deal with somebody else, but I'd imagine he gets somebody's last two-way deal, and maybe it's the Mavericks, and they definitely should look into the possibility of bringing in the G League MVP, J.D. Davidson. But I want to wrap things up with a little Mavericks chatter and give a little light to Lamar Odom. He's building a school in Killeen, Texas, and giving back to the Texas community. Um, Odom School will be sports based, but it will also be used for esports, technology, math, and more. Even though one small business owner wasn't buying Odom's charity, this is a great move for the two-way NBA champion, or two-time, excuse me, NBA champion to give back to the people in Texas. Um, Obviously, he was on the team for a short time and had a disappointing tenure. Um, but again, he's turning his life around, giving back to the community. So shout out to Lamar Odom for building a school down in Killeen, Texas. And yeah, maybe you're a type of Dallas Mavericks fan that will never like Lamar Odom, but it's still cool of him to make this school and give back and invest his time and money to the kids of Killeen, Texas. So congratulations to that school and congratulations to Lamar Odom. But this has been another Mavs latest. I'm Josyah Howard. Again, please subscribe down below. Please leave any comments you got for me. And let's get it, y'all.